Now, the reason Kyiv is so crucial for Russia's invasion plan is because of the fact that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is camping in the capital city. He's confirmed this with a slew of videos. The latest one was also what you see on your screens, the one of him in a hospital visiting wounded Ukrainian soldiers. The latest attack that happened, the shelling that happened in Kyiv, was kilometers, just about 7 kilometers or 10 kilometers away from the presidential building, which is where Zelensky is. Putin has clearly declared Zelensky as enemy number one, wants to go after him and therefore capture Kyiv.
As he walks amidst the tremors of his besieged city, the once distant thunder of the Russian war machine is now closing in and fast. Commanding the final defense of Ukraine's capital, President Volodymyr Zelensky is now less than 8 kilometers away from where Russian weapons are landing.
This is a fire tender working here, but still there is fire. It's been burning for last 2.5 hours since it was struck by a missile in the morning today at 4:30 to 5 local time. The complete building has been destroyed, and there was another blast which I saw just before this. It was in the middle of a road. Nearby buildings were damaged. Now the whole Kyiv city is within the artillery range. It is like about 10 kilometers away from the city center, but it is quite close to Irpin where the fighting was taking place, and maybe just about 10 kilometers from the front lines and 10 kilometers from the center.
Zelensky's fortress of Kyiv has been breached, with the shockwaves of Putin's shells now quaking the presidential palace. Once restricted to the satellite suburbs of the city, the firepower of Putin's war machine is barely 3 kilometers from the once bustling city center now.
Range of the medium artillery and the multi-barrel rocket launchers which Russian forces have, the entire city is within their range now.
The hunted Ukrainian president is aware that the man who stalks him with an enormous military machine is sniffing an endgame in the heart of the country's capital. And as tension spreads in Kyiv, he has spoken out once again.
Наші хоробрі захисники продовжують завдавати російським військам.
Soon the numbers of downed helicopters of Russia will reach hundreds of units. They have already lost 80 warplanes, hundreds of tanks and thousands of other units of equipment.
Танків, тисячі інших одиниць техніки.
Leaving in their wake a trail of damage, debris and devastation, the Russian forces are training their weapons ever closer to the man they wish to topple as Ukraine's head of state. The man who continues to defy President Putin in what is emerging to be a last stand battle. With peace talks between Ukraine and Russia meandering and the devastation piling up every minute, will Putin's army be at President Zelensky's doorstep next? And if they get him, what will they do with him? The world is watching. With Rajesh Pawar in Kyiv, Ukraine, Bureau Report, India Today.
Beyond Kyiv, what's happening across Ukraine? There are several cities right now that wear a look of a ghost town, whether we talk about Mariupol, which is in the southern part of Ukraine, or Kharkiv, the second largest city in Ukraine. Even western parts that were so far considered safe are now reporting increased incidents of shelling of missile strikes, which means Russia clearly is upping the ante. They're not focused on one region of Ukraine anymore. They're looking to capture the entire country and are slowly moving towards the west as well.
Death and destruction everywhere. From capital city Kyiv,
A complete building has been destroyed, and there was another blast which I saw just before this. It was in the middle of a road. Nearby buildings were damaged, but it fell on a broad road, so not much casualties. But here I believe few people have died and a lot of them were injured.
to Ukraine's western city of Lviv.
Air raid sirens up again, blaring in the city of Lviv. People have been going into the bomb shelters. Not many, quite a few of the apartments over here do not have bomb shelters, but the parking and the basements are where they're moving.
Russian missiles are raining misery. This four-story residential building in Kharkiv was reduced to rubble in seconds, killing at least 2 people. Ukraine has alleged Russian airstrikes have made evacuation attempts dangerous. The relentless Russian assault and the West's risk-averse assistance has forced Ukraine to climb down. The country has reaffirmed it will not join NATO.
Зрозуміло, підривають школи, як я сказав, все, університети. Зрозуміло, що Україна не є членом НАТО, ми це розуміємо, ми адекватні люди. Роками ми чули про нібито відкриті двері, але вже почули також, що нам...
While Russian forces are advancing, the war is proving a costly affair for Moscow. The UK has imposed sanctions on 370 more Russian elites. Other US allies are also expanding sanctions to cover more Russian firms and oligarchs.
It's important for Canadians and the world to know that Canada will continue supporting Ukraine and its independence, integrity, sovereignty, including its right to defend itself.
Russia has hit back. It has vowed to reduce dependence on the West.
Никоим образом не зависеть от западных партнеров, будь то правительство или будь то компании, которые совсем не руководствуются интересами своего бизнеса, а стали инструментом политической агрессии, которую сейчас Россия испытывает со стороны Запада. Мы сделаем так, чтобы больше никогда в подобной ситуации не оказывались, и чтобы никакой дядя, ни Сэм, никто еще не могли принимать решения, которые нацелены на то, чтобы разрушить.
Since the start of the war, hundreds of civilians have lost their lives to Russian bombings. 2.8 million people have fled the war in search of safe zones. The 5 rounds of talks have so far failed to yield a ceasefire. Bureau Report, India Today.